Hello, my name's Charles Lastic. I'm the Managing Director of Blue Bond Tax Planning. I've been helping clients avoid inheritance tax for more than 18 years as a specialist. And today's video is around something that most of you probably wouldn't heard of, which is an immediate post-death interest trust. So why should most people have an immediate post-death interest trust written into their wills? What are the benefits and why is it effective? Okay, so today's video is around immediate post-death interest trusts, or IPDIs. So what is IPDI and what does it do? So very simply, it's a trust that's written into the will. So therefore, we really ask that all clients rewrite their wills as part of our estate planning structure, and IPDIs are put in. Now, there are two types of immediate post-death interest trust. So number one, for the vast majority of people who've got large asset bases. So if a second spouse dies with an asset base of over £2 million, the residential nil rate band is reduced by £1 for every £2 over the 2 million. So if the second spouse dies with over 2.7 million, they would lose not only their own residential nil rate band, but also the residential nil rate band that was passed to them from their previously deceased spouse. So what one IPDI, so the moment we get a client whose assets are close to 2 million or well over 2 million, as in the majority of our clients, to be honest, then we would put this IPDI into both of their wills. It basically says that when the first person dies, instead of transferring the residential nil rate band to the surviving spouse, we bank that residential nil rate band into this immediate post-death interest trust. So we actually claim it at the time of the first person dying. Now, okay, you could say that if the residential nil rate band increases over time, then you would lose out on that allowance. But it hasn't done since its inception, and there's no talk about it going up. So therefore, I think that's really unlikely, and therefore the protection of it is more important. So if you park it in this immediate post-death interest trust, and the second spouse then does die with over £2 million, and rather than losing both nil rate bands, we only lose potentially one. We would try and avoid it anyway, but if we lost one, we certainly wouldn't lose two. And therefore, it's worth putting this IPDI in for a small amount of money, because it could potentially save your children over £70,000 in tax, which is effectively the 40% of one residential nil rate band at 175,000. So the first IPDI is all about saving the residential nil rate band. The second IPDI, a little bit more complicated, but only put into place generally where we've got what's called blended families, where basically somebody was previously widowed, or that they got divorced and they've got children from previous marriages, and quite often people want their assets to go to their children, and their spouse's assets to go to their children. Now, there is always an issue about making sure that if one person dies, that the other surviving spouse is looked after during their lifetime. And this immediate post-death interest trust allows you to park all of your assets in that trust while giving potential income to the surviving spouse, but that any capital would be paid back to the trust on the death of the second spouse, right? So you put all your assets, instead of it going directly to the surviving spouse, it goes into the trust. The surviving spouse can get income, and they can even get capital. But any capital that is given out is repaid back to that trust on the death of the second spouse, thus safeguarding those assets for the first person to die's children. So those are IPDIs, very useful mechanisms. Almost nobody has got these written into their wills, and because they're so effective, most of our clients, in fact all of our clients, I can't remember a client where we haven't done one, where effectively we do this planning for them because it's so effective and very useful and very low cost. Okay, hopefully you found that useful. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and a like. It helps the channel, and hope you enjoyed it, and goodbye for now. Bye.